We're dishing with the one and only Susan Lucci.
Cheers!
She's breaking the internet at, wait for it, 75.
My.
Revealing the secret of the soap opera slap.
You witch!
And getting serious about a shocking health scare.
I was feeling like an elephant was pressing on my chest.
Plus, we're cooking up some of our all-time favorite family recipes.
Delicious.
That's next. Let's dish.
The kitchen has always been at the center of my world because life is more delicious when it's full of food and fun.
Everybody knows me as a culinary expert and food judge on television, but also I'm just a mom trying to get dinner on the table.
From Hollywood to home, I bring Southern sweet and Caribbean heat, and I'm not afraid to stir the pot.
Good food, good friends, good dish. Hello, friends. Oh, yes.
Look at that.
We brought a big salad today.
Yes.
Hello, welcome to The Good Dish. You asked for it, so we are giving it to you. We are sharing some of our favorite family recipes. And speaking of favorites, she can bring the drama to any family gathering. Soap opera royalty, Susan Lucci is here. Yes, she is, and she's already pouring out the bubbly, so we are gonna get started with her very shortly. But first, I am gonna share a salad that has been in my family for as long as I can remember. It is my grandmother's famous eggless Caesar salad. It's garlicky, it's lemony, it's cheesy, crunchy texture from the croutons. It has this, my grandma loves citrus, anything, that bright tang of lemon especially. So there's so much lemon in here, balanced with that garlic. And I have to tell you, it is far and away the most requested meal in our home. You know, some families like fight over, oh, you have to eat your salad. In our family, we fought over who got the last bite. Like, this is our favorite thing. It is requested at every single family meal. And I did share a little video of me making it that I'm gonna share with you now. Might have broke the internet. Take a look. I'm making my grandmother's famous eggless Caesar dressing. We'll give you a little bit of a forewarning. It is very garlicky, which we love. It is very lemony, which we really love. It's like very bright and tart and zingy. My grandmother loves lemons. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing not to love. It's really easy and so flavorful, and you don't need to worry about storing it because I promise you there will not be any left. Okay, so I want big hunks of garlic. And I'm just gonna give the rest of these guys a quick smash and just loosen them up. So I'm just sort of giving the garlic a rough chop, and then I'm gonna continue mashing it into the base of the bowl with about 1.5 teaspoons of dry mustard. And then a pinch of salt to help it break down. So I'm doing about 1 teaspoon of kosher salt to start with. Okay, then gotta have anchovies in here. There is something about these little chopped up fishies that add such a great boost of flavor and salinity to this salad. And then I just give them a quick chop like so, because again, everything gets worked into the base of the bowl and blended together. I do like 1 tablespoon of capers plus brine. So just shoot it in there and then gets it nice and briny. It's kind of like a mermaid salad. And there is something about the physical, like mashing it with your hands. If you put all this in a blender together, yeah, you'd get somewhere similar, but it wouldn't be this. Now we're gonna add a splash of Worcestershire sauce, lots of lemon juice. This is the moment of citrus heaven happening. I'm starting with 3, I might even need to add more. And just squeeze it over your hands so you're catching any pits that fall out. Use this moment to continue mashing away. Now all we need is olive oil and then the cheese, of course. It's coming together, it's happening now. So you want to do about like 2 parts oil to 1 part of acid. And one little trick my grandmother does is, she adds a splash, just a splash, of red wine vinegar. And my mother adds 1/2 teaspoon of honey. This is totally optional. This is the Lisa Oz special. Now we are going to add our cheese in. And then all that remains is to put the lettuce in and give it a quick toss. I'll show you one other quick trick my grandmother has. It's a lot of cheese, but we like cheese in this family. Until you're ready to eat, take a plate, get your dressing down in the center here. okay? Just give it a quick slice down. Now, nobody wants a soggy salad, especially not a crisp, delicious romaine Caesar. This is how you're gonna keep it nice and fresh and perfect. You're gonna walk it over to your table. It could be an hour later, it could be whenever. Let this dressing sit and meld and become its beautiful symphony self.
And that's how it's done.
Love that video.
Amazing.
So you saw me add that plate at the bottom of the bowl, covering up the dressing at the end. This is my grandmother's amazing trick, and she has so many little, like, just practical hacks like this that are so valuable when you're cooking for such a huge group of people all the time. When you are ready, you put this on the table, gather everyone together. When you are ready to eat, you simply pull that plate out, and your leaves cascade into the dressing. It means that your romaine never gets wilted or soft. It stays nice and vibrant and crisp. Toss it together like so. And I, do just garnish it up with a little bit of extra Parmesan. You can just shave that off with a vegetable peeler, a little crunch from a little simple garlicky olive oil and salty crouton. And that, my friends, is my grandmother's famous eggless Caesar salad. Dig in.
Yeah.
I can't wait any longer.
Shout out to
at dinner
Grandma.
at the Lamole house right here.
Oh my God.
First bite, everything is coated in that dressing.
Right?
And you get all of that, the brininess, the lemon, the garlic. Our breath is gonna be so funky after this, and I love it.
You gotta eat it together.
It's so true.
I'm glad I'm with you, ladies, but I don't care. I would eat this all day long. It is so bright and fresh and crunchy.
Yes.
And I will say, my family is gonna love it too because they're having it for dinner tonight.
Yay!
So amazing. All right, and because everybody goes, I think, berserk over the salad and the bowl. Like, please let us know, where can we get this bowl? Everybody's obsessed with it on the internet.
The bowl is literally the star of the show, and it's so funny to me because I grew up making it in these bowls, so I didn't realize, how hard they are to find.
Oh, yeah.
I'd gotten mine at a store up in Maine that has since closed, which is such a bummer, but I literally found the Peruvian suppliers of the bowl that I have. They are making more bowls. They will be available eventually. We've been working on it for like the better part of a year because so many people want it. And honestly, I have to say, whether you make it in a wooden bowl, it's whatever it is, making healthy food feel celebratory, having it be a staple that's like the tradition and the heritage of your family. It never dawned on us that this was like, oh, it's a healthy thing to eat, or or any of the salads my grandparents would make or my mom would make. It really just was like this focal point of the table, and that's the beauty of the big wooden bowl. It's a decorative element that still is super functional, which I
We
love.
all need it, and it's like pass it down just from family member to family member.
It's like
You
your
have to
cast
pass
iron
it.
skillet,
There you
100%.
go.
All right, Jamaica, you took one of your family favorites and reinvented it into one of your signature menu items as a caterer. Tell us about this story.
Kind of funny, it was a happy accident because my family, we love shrimp and grits. I mean, it's a Southern staple, but it can get a little delicate trying to handle, like keep the grits creamy and not overcooking the shrimp. So I came up with my shrimp and grits hush puppies as a way to kind of counter that, because you have those pillowy, soft grits and then the shrimp, but it's like, we gotta make it a fun way that's poppable.
Yes.
And it came up by accident because I was catering and I had a client, they ordered shrimp and grits in individual glasses. On the way to the party in transit, the glasses broke. And I'm like, okay, they paid me for shrimp and grits. What am I gonna do? So in caterer style, we're like, we're gonna make this work. I started mixing the grits, dicing up the shrimp, made a batter, drop it in hot oil. Nobody ever knew that I didn't have the glasses, and it became one of my signature items. So yes, shrimp and grits hush puppies, nice and poppable, and you get all of that flavor in every single bite. And now my family is just like obsessed with it. So
Why are we eating those?
accident.
That
I know
sounds
exactly. They
delicious.
would go perfect for a party.
There you go.
Right? Because otherwise, shrimp and grits are hard to carry around on a plate while you're at a
Totally.
cocktail party. So
Yes.
multi-purpose.
Necessity, the mother of invention.
That's right.
We make it work.
All right. Don't forget to go to gooddishtv.com for both of these recipes. And coming up, we'll be joined by daytime television royalty. I mean, I cannot wait. Susan Lucci is here next.
We better eat some of this salad before we get all around her with our diet.
Like something you saw on the show today? We're dishing all the details on the good list. All the recipes, important tips, and tricks, all in one place. So stay tuned until the end of the show when we'll share the good list QR code. You can scan to send it all right to your phone.
Welcome back to The Good Dish. We are very excited about our next guest. She is a true daytime TV legend. She was nominated for a record 21 Daytime Emmy Awards for her iconic role of Erica Kane on the soap opera All My Children. And she is even married to a chef, a perfect fit here. Please welcome Susan Lucci to The Good Dish. Oh my goodness.
Champagne. I'm so happy to see you.
It is an honor.
So nice to have you. Welcome, welcome. Hi.
So
Come and have a seat.
Okay. We are
So you brought us bubbles.
God have bubbles.
What are we cheersing to? Thank you so
Oh,
much.
cheers to your success here. You have a brand new show.
Thank
It's
you.
such a pleasure
Thank
to
you.
be with you all. Cheers.
And after we take a quick sip, and continue.
Oh, that's really champagne.
It's real. Oh no, we don't mess around here. We got the good stuff. We did bring you a side salad of my grandmother's eggless Caesar because we all smell like vampires right now, or the opposite of vampires. We are full garlic. So I hate to think what your experience must be.
No, not at all. Thank you. And actually, it's similar to a salad that I learned to make from my husband. Actually, early on in our marriage, without the cheese, it wasn't a Caesar dressing, but the whisking of the mustard and the garlic together. And yes,
It makes a difference.
it makes such a difference.
So it's perfect for this show, which is all about our family favorites. Is there a dish that is like your call to home that just immediately takes you home?
Well, you mentioned your grandmother and so on, and my grandmother lived with us until she passed away when I was 11, and she was a fabulous woman. She was jolly. She was cooking and baking every single day. She would make an apple pie for the family, but she would make me my own apple in crust like this in the oven, and so to smell, you know.
I bet your whole house smelled beautiful.
Oh, it was.
Come home from school.
From home. It was really great. I was a very fat and happy little girl.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers to that.
I mean, that was just the beginning, the priming of all the adventures you were going to have later on in life. And I do want to talk about, 41 years as Erica Kane and all the incredible things they had you do on this show.
I'm still alive.
You're still alive
Because of your own stunts?
Yeah, because of the foundation of baked
actually.
apples. I know. I always read this about you that you did your own stunts, but you faced off against a grizzly bear. I hope you didn't do your own stunt for that.
Actually, yes, there was a grizzly bear, yeah.
Oh, real?
Yes, I mean, there was a trainer.
Right.
And it was a really hot day in way north in Canada. And this bear was in a stream, happily cooling off in the stream until they told him, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, to cue the bear. And
Cue the bear.
And the bear did not want to work. He did not want to work on that hot day or get out of the cold stream. We did it in one take.
I bet you
Amazing.
did not want a testy bear. Let me just tell you that.
Let us not test this bear.
Well, how about the prison break? Was that also a real scene?
Well, that was, we shot that on a roof of actually, I think it was a juvenile detention center in Connecticut. And when I arrived early in the morning, it had started to snow. I was in a wedding gown and high heels.
Obviously.
Of course you and but,
As one would be when you're escaping prison.
it's a prison break. And I thought, okay. And then so I knew what I was supposed to do, and they brought in the helicopter. And there was a stunt woman, a wonderful stunt woman, who was going to actually climb the ladder and fly around hanging on over Connecticut, But in the heat of the moment, so I ran and the rope ladder was hanging down off the helicopter, and I started to climb up. I thought, I can do this, and then they won't have to edit. It'll be great, I can do this. And I got about 3 steps up, and the director and the producer, both of them, they threw their bodies up in the air. No!
Right. That is a risk they can't take with Erica Kane's life.
And later I found out, oh my God, she had special gloves because I guess, you risk hypothermia. It's really cold when you're flying around.
Yeah, that is not the time to be ambitious. I just want to let you know.
I
just got carried away.
Ready to do it, though.
Ready to do it.
Really made it all look very glamorous.
Oh, good. Good.
It's just because of all this exciting storyline and the way that you are obviously, Susan is so different from Erica, but you did live so fully and beautifully into this character. And I do hear to the clamoring excitement of so many fans who desperately miss All My Children that there might be a reboot happening in television very soon.
Is that true?
What's going on?
There is some talk of it, and you know, it's so important to be in good hands. And it would be Kelly Ripa and her husband Mark Consuelos producing.
Wow. Because they were on the show, right? That's where they met.
A really important part of the show, and they're smart and they get it and they know. And so if it's going to be done, they would be producing, and I feel really confident about that. I hope it happens.
Okay, we want that.
We all want that.
Yeah.
Crossing our fingers
Thank
for
you.
for sure.
So you know, we don't have quite the level of drama of you swinging around with frostbite on a helicopter. But something that I do think I'd like to pick your brain on is, how do you get the soap opera slap? Is it like training day number 1? Like, how did you master it? How did you learn it? Can we learn?
Well, you know, I didn't even know there was something called the soap opera slap. It was just like Erica slapped people when she got mad.
By the way, it's such a great way to just like end the conversation.
It's over.
You pioneered the soap opera slap.
Maybe that's yes, that's true.
Well, if I did, I really learned from a master, because B.H. Barry was a fight coordinator and stunt coordinator on Broadway and in film, and he would come to the studio, and I really learned how to do it from him. He talked about the wind up. First of all, staying like, what is the trigger for you, and then the wind up, and then the follow through, but you don't hit the person. You have to sell it. So it has to do with camera angles too. Oh, you
well,
can't-
let's get it
has
right.
to do with
Okay.
camera angles
Okay.
too.
Be careful. It's
I'm
hard
just
to
gonna
get mad
move
at
this.
Daphne, though. That's
Just for a moment, Daphne. Yes, I'm not really mad at you, but I'm going to pretend.
I hate that you didn't actually do your stunt on the helicopter.
I tried. I wanted to, but it's really good. I
We want to see
I'm
it.
taking my earring off, everybody.
This is a fight.
Oh
This is
no!
wrong.
And I'm not going to make any contact with your face.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
when
leave
I,
it on.
so when I, you know, I might say, you know, how dare you?
Yes.
And you'll
And
see,
then?
and you keep eye contact, so you trust each other.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm going to come through, and I'm going to do it with some fear.
Yes.
You know.
Ferocity.
Ferocity.
Yes. Okay.
But then you help sell it. Then
Okay.
you act like
I
you
fall-
got
I
slapped.
fall this way.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. And the camera angle helps.
Can we get music?
There we go.
Okay. Yes.
Bum bum.
Okay. You witch!
Oh my gosh! That was
Acting. Thank you. That was fun. It does. You really sell it, and now I feel brought into the process. I would like to show you how we slap on this show.
Oh, this is
for you.
rosemary?
This is
Yes. Oh,
rosemary
I love
for my
rosemary.
friends. We like to slap our herbs here on this show because it releases the essential oils, it flavors, you'll smell it, it immediately blooms it into the air and into your food. So just passionately.
Okay. Rosemary.
Now
You
smell.
witch.
Yes.
I think was yes. You witch. You witch. You witch. Oh, but you smell so good.
I know. Great
Oh,
for cocktails.
There you
Slap your
go.
herbs before you put them in
That's
your
a
cocktail.
great tip. I
100%.
love this.
That's the good dish slap from us to you.
Thank you. I'll always remember that.
There you go. We'll be right back with more Susan Lucci, and she's opening up about the health scare that changed her life. We are back with Susan Lucci. It's so great to have you dishing with us today.
So one thing I know that's very important to you is healthy eating, healthy lifestyle, especially now because February is Heart Health Month.
Yes.
And I know that is something very near and dear to your heart. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
About 3 years ago, I had a heart event of my own that was very surprising and shocking to me, but to the doctors too. It was surprising. Like most women, I ignored my symptoms. I thought they'd go away. I didn't want to bother the doctor. I had too much to do that day. It's nothing. But then I couldn't ignore it. And I wound up going to the emergency room of St. Francis Hospital on Long Island, I was actually about a mile away looking for a birthday present for a girlfriend. And the store manager noticed that I sat down on a bench, and she asked me if I was all right. I said, I'm trying to figure it out. She asked what it was. I told her what I was feeling. The manager of this boutique, turned out, I didn't know this, she also had a degree in nursing.
Oh my goodness.
And she said, Susan, I can get you a mile down the road faster than it will take an ambulance to get here. Very calmly, why don't I take you to St. Francis?
How lucky that you happen to be in this place. I mean,
my guardian angels were with me.
Yeah.
And Dr. Schlafmitz, the head of heart department there at St. Francis, is everything his reputation says he is. And he was there. And anyway, I wound up having 2 stents put in that night. It got actually kind of late. And I was released the next day before noon. I knew that I'd had such good fortune that I had to pass it forward. I had to. And so that's the Go Red for Women movement from the American Heart Association has given me that opportunity, and I've learned so much. It actually is the major killer of women. And I used to hear that, and it didn't kind of register, but it kills 7 times more women than all cancers put together.
It's a huge number, and it's what's fascinating about heart disease is it is in many cases lifestyle determined. There is actually something we can all do in taking good care of ourselves with the food that we eat, the daily medicine of our meals,
And the total wellness.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask. How do you take care of yourself? Because we have a picture of you that you had posted on Instagram recently. I mean, it literally, I think, broke the internet.
I cannot get over this.
So you must be doing something right. Like, how do you take care of? And it's not all obviously about your looks. It's taking care of your heart, taking care of your mind. But how do you do it? Because you've been in front of the camera your whole life.
Thank you. The doctor too was surprised that I wouldn't look like a heart candidate. And I had recently had my main checkup. It wasn't cholesterol. Family history turns out to be very important too. Genetics. And my mom, I just lost my mom in June, but she was 104.
Oh my gosh!
Yes,
good
and
genes.
great genes. And I had not had any health issues, so I asked the doctor at the end, "What can I do?" And I really asked him. The first thing was, "How's my actual heart?" And he told me that my actual heart was very strong. There is no damage, and it was the heart of a 20-year-old.
Because you do all your own stuff.
Exactly. You're hanging from
trained on adrenaline.
The healthy eating pays off.
Yes,
Even if you
yes.
inherit something,
it does.
do yourself, be your best friend, be your own best friend,
I love
and
that.
still eat clean and work out. Workout is great for your de-stressing too.
Absolutely.
I mean, thank goodness you
Mental
recognize
health.
the signs. You take amazing care of yourself because we can't get enough of Erica Kane and Susan Lucci. Because coming up after the break, we're heading into the kitchen with Susan where she wants to learn how to cook up an Italian meal honoring her heritage. Coming right up.
Welcome back to The Good Dish. We are in the kitchen with Susan Lucci. Very exciting. Now, Susan told us that although she is of Italian descent, she actually hasn't mastered the cuisine quite yet. So we are going to make an easy roasted mushroom and spinach lasagna. And something to note, just coming out of the conversation we just had, is lasagna is the perfect thing to customize if you have dietary concerns, if you have things you want to work in or weave out. It's very forgiving. And we're going to do it in a kind of a fun way with no baked noodles today, which my personal pet peeve with lasagna is just when it gets too watery and the sauce runs away from you. This is a great way to make sure the sauce stays put. It's concentrated flavor. It is super delicious. Susan Lucci's going to master it. Okay, so talk us through the process, Jamaica. How are we going to run this
Well,
down?
yeah, now you have the sauce down there. You're starting, and it's simply onion and garlic and cook it down until it's soft. Little red pepper flakes in there and tomato and basil and salt, and you just bring that to a simmer.
Smells so good.
Yes, and you just let it thicken about 25 minutes, and then you'll toss in the mushrooms. Yeah, make sure you lay that down first. Once it's all baked together, you won't even miss the meat sauce. This will be your new sauce, your go-to mushroom sauce. Okay?
Love this.
So then now we have our sauce, we got to do our filling. So we'll start with some ricotta cheese. If you're from the South like me, we say ricotta, but it's actually ricotta.
I love that you say it like that.
And then you just layer up on the cheese. We have Parmesan, we have mozzarella here. If you can help me, we're adding in the
Sure.
spinach in there, and that is just frozen spinach, and we defrost it and squeeze out all the moisture there. So, and then we also have some nutmeg, and then we bind it with a little bit of egg, and we'll start to stir all this together. And then you just season it, a little bit of salt and pepper. So we'll stir all of this together, and this will be our next layer. So we'll do.
It's kind of like a spinach dip within a lasagna.
That's a nice way to look at it.
Which I love.
It really, truly is. All right, so then we have sauce, and then we do the noodles.
So I did just a thin layer of sauce here on the base of a buttered casserole dish. And you don't want too much sauce at the bottom because you don't want to just soak the noodle, but you are and because we're not cooking these noodles, they're dry. This is the hydration. So you need, right? That's a no-bake noodle. So we'll just make a fun little design. I'll
Sure.
however you like. And then a little bit more sauce over top again, just to kind of seal those noodles in and make sure they have that hydration. We're gonna do a little dance. We did sauce, noodles, sauce, cheese.
And then
Orchestration.
we want to get you involved here.
I like
Yes,
you
I
saying
can,
both.
I can
You
contribute
contributed
it
to
to
this.
that. I can contribute it
So do a
out.
nice little spread here.
Oh, very good. Now our noodles are running away from us.
Keep it in there. And this is great. I mean, the ricotta cheese is at room temperature, so that kind of helps spread it all along. All right, that's looking good.
And then we went horizontal with the noodles last time, so this time we'll go vertical, and that's just gonna give our lasagna a little more stability, so that when you cut it, it holds together. And I'll go back with a little more sauce over here, and you just keep building all your layers. Make sure that every piece is gonna have some saucy red sauce. all that
Definitely.
delicious
Saucy red
cheese.
sauce. Yum.
Okay, and then once you get to your final layer of red sauce, then obviously we need to finish it up with something that's gonna be golden brown, crispy, delicious. What could it be? Cheese! Go do the honors, right on.
Thank you. All right, I have more of this beautiful mozzarella that's going to go right on top.
And that's
You
gonna
wanna
give
get
that
it
cheese pull when you go in there for that, and you
that
pull that slice out.
golden
That's what it's
crust.
gonna
Oh, that always is so.
And then I'm also going to finish it with
Parmesan.
lots of parm as well, saltiness.
And when you're cooking it, you have to talk with a bad Italian accent. That would help it taste better. So Parmesan, mozzarella.
Exactly. Ricotta.
This is going to go into the oven for about 45 minutes, covered in foil.
45 minutes?
That's right, at 350.
Okay.
Then you're going to uncover it for the last 20 minutes or so that it gets all golden brown. Hike it up to 400 to finish it. And then you let it rest a little bit so that when you cut into it, it doesn't all just ooze out. You want to let it set a little, cool just slightly so that it all comes together, and then we can
And to
serve.
give yourself time to show off to your friends and family.
Right,
You want
how
them to gather
beautiful
around and
it
say, like,
looks.
oh my word, you made this lasagna from
Exactly. A little anticipation.
Yes,
They
you know,
really
build the
want that.
drama, and you know we need to do this.
A work
Beauty
of art.
of the layers. We're going to
That
give you the
is
fresh
gorgeous.
piece. Maybe a little bit of basil on top.
Yum, yum, yum.
All right.
All right.
This is delicious. And
It
you're
is.
right, you don't miss the meat at all.
The mushrooms take on that meaty flavor, like you said. That
And that texture.
Yeah.
It's,
this
it's
is
really
so good.
satisfying, warm, soulful food, right?
Absolutely.
You can't go wrong.
Absolutely.
Susan, we love you so much. Thank you for doing this with us and allowing us to teach you a little something.
I love learning this. Thank you so much.
I mean,
We're going to go practice our slaps backstage.
Yes,
That was so fun.
we got to work on our slaps. But in the meantime, don't forget to go to gooddishtv.com for this full recipe of this lasagna. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And coming up, Gail is dishing about one of her family favorite recipes. You don't want to miss that one. Oh no.
I do love it. Mushrooms are so
It's such a good vibe in there.
Whether it's a recipe that spans generations or a dish that tickles your taste buds with a sense of nostalgia, there are some meals that just make you feel like home. And we are so excited to be able to open our family's history books and introduce you to some of the recipes that raised us. Now it's my turn. Take a look.
When I think of matzo ball soup, I really think of my grandma. We called her Grandma Snazzy. She had impeccable fashion. She never left her house without her lipstick and her high heels on. She never seemed to eat a thing, but man, could she cook. And one of the best things she made was her famous matzo ball soup. It was hearty and rich, packed with a deep chicken flavor. Hers just felt so loving, so warm. Whenever I ate it, I knew my grandma was giving me her biggest, warmest cuddle and hug, and that's how I remember it. Matzo ball soup is the unofficial soup of New York City. Every deli serves a version of it, but what I find is that most matzo balls in most places are heavy. They sink to the bottom. They should float, not sink. In my late 20s, I decided to tackle my grandma's matzo balls and make them by myself. What I realized is they're really not that difficult. The most authentic way to make great matzo balls is using a key ingredient that can be a little tricky to find. It's called schmaltz. By some miracle, my local butcher carries it. And it's the Yiddish word for rendered chicken fat. But if you're able to get some, it really does make all the difference. But don't panic. If you can't find schmaltz, you can absolutely make it with a neutral oil or even clarified butter. My family goes crazy for this soup, and especially for the matzo balls. My son slurps it down. He can't get enough. My daughter not only loves eating it, but now loves helping make it with my mother and my mother-in-law. This is a family favorite. We love it, and I know you'll love it too.
The slurping is what does
The
it for
bowl
me.
to the face, like, all the way up.
He's
Such a
very
good
passionate about his matzo ball soup, my son.
I mean, and let's not forget about Grandma Snazzy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta hear about her.
With a name like that, she's got a big personality without a doubt.
She was so glam, I have to say. You
These
know,
pictures are
aren't they
phenomenal.
beautiful? And she made an incredible matzo ball soup that my mother then made, I make, and now my daughter helps me make and loves too. So it's very special in our family.
Alrighty then.
Well, show us how it's made.
All right, are you
Looks
ready?
delicious.
Yes.
I'm gonna start with some eggs in a bowl that I'm whisking together. And there's a few key ingredients in a great matzo ball. Into my eggs, I'm going to pour schmaltz. I talked about that before. It's rendered chicken fat. Now this is also because, you know, if you follow eating kosher, you can't use butter or dairy or anything. And this was also a way to make the most of every piece of the bird, right? And then the magic of the rise and the lightness is gonna come from baking powder and club soda.
Okay.
Just a little bit of seltzer gives it some levity, right? That's gonna lighten it all up. And then of course the matzah meal, which is a ground matzah. And then my little trick that I love, of course you wanna season it, is putting dill into it. Dill for me is like the key to flavor. And it's, you know, this is a recipe that came from Eastern European roots. My grandmother was born in Russia and she moved here in the middle of the night, you know, when she was 3 years old. She used to tell me the story of how she was woken up in the middle of the night to immigrate, and they gave her a kettle, like a tea kettle to have something to hold on to as they made their journey out of Russia. And so, you know, the dill to me really invokes those flavors. And then this needs to rest uncovered in the refrigerator for at least a half an hour, if not up to 2 hours or more, so that you get that rise and that leavening process.
Do not skip this step.
That is right. You need to leaven, it needs to give some rise, it needs to hydrate. You want to let it sit. I'm gonna get the swap.
Okay. Now we know. Okay.
So this has been sitting and it is cooled, and I can start to make my matzo balls. I have a small ice cream scoop here.
And the giant tire size.
Okay,
ones,
first
you
of
know
all,
what
I'm gonna
those?
wet my hands so that they don't stick. That's the whole
That's
thing.
what I'm used to seeing.
I know. They will grow. You're gonna see how big these get because of that leavening. They triple in size. So that is the problem. People start too big and then they don't cook through and they're weighted down and they're like a hockey puck. That's my Canadian cooking reference right there. You wanna keep them small. They're gonna go in simmering salted water and they cook for about a half an hour to 40 minutes. And you'll see after I've made them that when they've cooked,
No way. You were right.
grab a slotted spoon here. Look how big they are. You know that they're done. They'll be floating at the beginning and they sink to the bottom. And they're done because that came from a very small matzo ball, but they are so big now and perfect for the soup. So I've made a really enriched chicken stock, and then I've cooked celery and parsnips and carrots in it. When I made the chicken stock, I used a whole chicken. I took the breasts and the meat, all of the meat out, and shredded it off the bone. So I have all the chicken that I shredded that's gonna go now back in to the stock with all the beautiful vegetables. I'm gonna give it a stir, and then I like to top it by filling my bowl. You wanna get a good balance of enough broth, chicken, and veggies right here. Okay, and then
Jewish penicillin coming through. Every
what it
time.
is, right? It really, it makes you feel better. It is home. And that matzo ball should be light and fluffy.
Your
And then
balls are perfect, Gail.
Oh, thanks.
really good.
All right.
What do you
I
think?
wish I would have had this. I've been eating this wrong. When you go to these delis and these diners, They're exactly how I described. You get a giant ball in there, and it does not taste as good as this one. I'm never going
Quality, not quantity,
Never
my
going
friend.
back that route again.
We love it.
Immense flavor, and they are soft, and they perfectly flavored. This is the way to go. Shalom.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Delicious.
We'll post this full recipe on gooddishtv.com. And coming up, we're sharing some favorite cleaning tricks for life's most annoying messes. You won't want to miss it.
I want to talk about Grandma's Nazi.
I had. Incredible. I recently became obsessed with these ultra satisfying, borderline hypnotic cleaning hacks on TikTok. The man behind them is a third-generation janitor and self-proclaimed clean freak with close to 24 million likes on TikTok. Wowzers. Please welcome Brandon Pleshek. Thank you. We are very excited that you're here.
Can I ask you, what is like the craziest thing that's happened to you since you have blown up on TikTok, making everyone feel just like the meditative pleasure and catharsis of watching a room go from dirty to clean, or like the polishing, that rug that we saw with all the dirt coming off? Like, how has your life changed now that you've changed all of ours?
I always joke that I'm just a janitor from Wisconsin, but now I'm here. So this is probably the craziest thing. So thanks for having me.
This is awesome.
There we go. Yes.
We love doing
We are
wild and
honored.
crazy
We are
things.
honored.
And honestly, like I also, Gail, find it so meditative, and also I learned so much. And your videos are filled with incredible hacks that, like, once you learn them, you will never not use them. The first of which we have to talk about, this mess here. If you've ever used a dustpan to try to sweep up, like, you know, dirt on the floor or sand or whatever, you will recognize this. That situation right there. The one line that no matter 400 sweeps later, you just can't get it in. But Brandon has a trick for this. What are we gonna do, Brandon?
Oh no. So it's as simple as a piece of masking tape here. Just put the sticky side up on the actual dustpan itself.
On the dustpan.
There.
Huh.
And then,
You're gonna change my husband's life. I'm just telling you right now.
there we go.
Okay.
And then simply just dust it up into the pan, and the stickiness will grab the line.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Life-changing. I'm impressed with that. Let's see what you got over here, because the next annoying problem is, I gotta blow. They make me nervous. We don't want that in there. It's spilled candle wax. And whether it's on a hard surface or a carpet, nothing can be more annoying than to try to remove that. But you say you have a trick on hard surfaces. Tell us what we can do.
Yes, so this is one of my most requested things is candle wax, a hair dryer. So what you're gonna do is turn on the hair dryer, and you're gonna heat up the wax with the hair dryer. Once it gets kind of warm, you're gonna gently take a spoon or a damp towel here, and then once the actual, let's warm it up a little bit.
I didn't think of that. That's so simple to use.
So you just wanna get warm enough so then you can kind of scoop it off the surface there.
And it comes right up.
It will come right off, and then just give it a quick wipe.
Wow.
And it'll be like it was never there.
No residue.
Okay, now that's on hard surfaces. What about carpets? Like, can you even salvage that?
Definitely.
Okay, what do
Yes,
we do?
for sure. So for carpets, it's a little trickier, especially if you have a candle that has like a color to it or anything like that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab this water here, and we're going to take a white towel. White towel is perfect, so it doesn't have dyes. We're gonna damp the towel here, get it nice and wet. We don't wanna burn it.
Okay.
Then we are going to place it over the actual candle wax. Get your iron nice and warm. Place it on there. Count to 10, 15. And then slowly kind of check on it. You'll start to see the actual wax go right up into the towel itself. Continue that process until it's completely gone, just about. If there's anything left behind, you can use a little white vinegar. Also, a spoon, super handy tool. You can kind of start to scoop it out of the fibers.
Okay, and lo and behold, I've been just cutting that part of the carpet out, and all my carpets have bald patches.
You know,
I should have known better. An iron, that is genius.
Brandon, thank you so much. This was
Thanks for
fun.
having me. Yeah.
Great.
Great ideas and great tips that we will definitely put to good use. Guys, make sure and check out Clean That Up on TikTok and on Instagram. Coming up, get the recipes we featured on today's show and everything you need to make dinner tonight. It's The Good List coming up next. Thank you. Amazing. I know.
You really get to know someone on a deeper level when they welcome you into their family traditions.
Yes, and Gail, you just made us your delicious matzo ball soup passed down from Grandma Snazzy. I can't
Snazzy.
even. Grandma Snazzy, just the best name to go with this delicious recipe. But you were describing her and her bright red lipstick and dressed to the nines, and it was reminding me so much of just women of her generation. My grandmother, my great grandmother, I have such distinct memories of this, wouldn't leave home without her gorgeous coral lipstick. It was like, a cascading array of colors, but always like a very, like her uniform. It was how she presented herself. And you could just, the confidence that she oozed and the grace and all of it. I have so many great memories of that, of those identifying features. And I do sometimes think, like, what will my kids' identifying features of me be? What will their kids' identifying features
I don't
be,
think for me
A
they'll
messy
be.
top knot, probably, and sneakers. That's probably what they're gonna look at us for.
But you make a mean,
Right, amazing matzo ball soup
banana fritter
and a
mean
big
matzo ball
array of
soup.
comfy pants.
We are still
Mean
sophisticated ladies. So, all right. So it is time for the good list, my favorite part of the show. See that QR code on your screen. Open your camera app and hold your phone up to the screen, and it will take you right to the recipes and more from today's show. And you can also head to gooddishtv.com to get it all, including what's for dinner, which is, oh wow, that spinach and mushroom lasagna we showed Miss Susan Lucci how to make. And we'll also put that infographic on the good list with the perfect layering technique. Remember, it's the sauce, the noodles, the sauce, the cheese, the sauce, the noodles. Repeat. You got it. All right.
Very sweet. Bottoms up, ladies. We'll see you next time for more good food and good dish.